Have you ever felt like life is fighting against you? You work hard, but things still don't go your way. You make plans, but unexpected problems destroy them. You see other people moving forward while you feel stuck in the same place. Sometimes you start asking yourself, why does every road I choose have obstacles? Why do I have to struggle more than others? Maybe I'm just not lucky enough. But what if the obstacles you are trying to escape are actually the things preparing you for the life you are asking for? What if the wall in front of you is not there to stop you, but to show you a strength you never knew you had? My name is Ian, and in today's story, we are going to talk about a powerful lesson of life. How obstacles in your path can become the reason you grow, change, and finally become the person you were meant to be. So stay until the end, because the biggest obstacle in this story was not the one everyone could see. It was the one hidden inside the mind. There was a young man named Daniel who lived in a small village near the mountains. Daniel was not lazy. He was not someone who avoided hard work. In fact, he worked harder than most people around him. Every morning he woke up before sunrise, helped his family, and spent the day learning new skills. He had a dream to build something meaningful. He wanted to leave the small village, create a successful business, and give his family a better life. But every time he tried to move forward, something happened. The first time he started a small business, it failed. He lost almost everything he saved. The second time he tried again, a partner betrayed him. The third time, people around him laughed and told him, "Daniel, maybe you should stop chasing dreams that are not made for you." Those words hurt more than his failures, because failure only breaks your plans, but people's words can break your belief. Slowly, Daniel started changing. He stopped talking about his dreams. He stopped making new plans. He started believing that maybe life had already decided his limits. One evening, Daniel was walking near the mountains, feeling tired and disappointed. He saw an old man sitting beside a river. The old man was known in the village as Elias. People said Elias was one of the wisest people they knew. Daniel sat beside him silently. Elias looked at him and asked, "Why does your face look like someone who lost a battle?" Daniel smiled sadly. "Because I did." Elias looked surprised. "A battle with who?" Daniel looked at the river and said, "With life." Then he told Elias everything: the failures, the mistakes, the people who doubted him, the dreams that seemed impossible. After listening carefully, Elias picked up a small stone and threw it into the river. The stone disappeared under the water. Then Elias asked, "Did the stone become useless because it fell?" Daniel replied, "No." "Then why do you think you become useless every time you fall?" Daniel stayed quiet, because he knew the answer. He had been judging himself by his failures instead of his ability to rise. But Elias continued, "Most people think obstacles are placed in their path to test their weakness. But sometimes obstacles are placed there to reveal their hidden strength." Daniel asked, "But how do I know which obstacles are helping me and which ones are destroying me?" Elias smiled. "That depends on one thing: your response. Two people can face the same storm. One person sees it as the end of the journey. Another person learns how to build a stronger ship." Daniel listened carefully, but he still felt confused. Because advice sounds simple when someone else says it. The real challenge is following it when your own life is falling apart. The next morning, Daniel decided to try again, but this time he changed something. before every failure made him ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Now he started asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Instead of seeing every problem as a punishment, he started seeing it as information. When his first business failed, he learned about patience. When his partner betrayed him, he learned about choosing people wisely. When people laughed at him, he learned that not everyone deserves a place in his journey. Months passed. Daniel worked quietly. He stopped trying to prove himself to others. He focused on becoming better. Slowly, his small efforts started creating results. But then came the biggest obstacle of his life. One night, a fire destroyed everything he had built: his tools, his products, his entire business. When Daniel saw the damage, he didn't speak. He just stood there. The villagers expected him to break. They thought this would finally be the moment Daniel would give up. But something unexpected happened. Daniel started rebuilding the next morning. People were shocked. One person asked, "After everything you lost, how can you start again?" Daniel looked at the ashes and said, "Because now I understand something. I did not lose everything. I still have the person who built it once." That answer surprised everyone. Because years ago, Daniel thought his success came from his business, but now he understood. His real success came from the person he became while building it. The fire destroyed his creation, but it could not destroy his experience. It could not destroy his discipline. It could not destroy his courage. And this was the lesson Daniel finally discovered. Sometimes life removes what you built because you are still depending on the thing instead of the person you became while building it. A lot of people wait for a life without obstacles. They think, when everything becomes easy, I will become successful. But life does not work like that. A mountain does not become smaller because you want to climb it. You become stronger because you climb the mountain. The obstacle is not always the enemy. Sometimes the obstacle is the teacher you never wanted, but the teacher you needed. Think about a seed. A seed stays under the ground. Darkness surrounds it. Pressure covers it. But that pressure is the exact thing that helps it break open and grow. Without breaking, it would never become a tree. Human beings are the same. The pressure you are facing today may feel like it is destroying you, but maybe it is creating a stronger version of you. Maybe the rejection you experienced saved you from the wrong path. Maybe the failure you suffered taught you something success never could. Maybe the delay is not a denial. Maybe life is preparing you. Daniel's story spread throughout the village, not because he became successful, but because people remembered how many times he fell and how many times he stood up again. Years later, a young boy asked Daniel, "What is the secret of becoming successful?" Daniel smiled and said, "Stop asking how to avoid obstacles. Start asking how to become the person who can overcome them." Because the goal is not to create a life with no problems. The goal is to create a mind that problems cannot defeat. So if you are facing difficulties right now, if your plans are failing, if people doubt you, remember, Daniel, the obstacle in front of you might not be blocking your future, it might be building it. Sometimes the hardest roads lead you to places the easy roads could never take you. And maybe one day, you will look back at your struggles and realize, the things I wanted to remove from my life were the same things that helped me grow.
Now I want to talk to you personally. Maybe you are watching this video while fighting a battle nobody knows about. Maybe you smile in front of people, but inside you are tired. Maybe you feel like you are behind everyone else. But remember this, your current situation is not your final destination. A difficult chapter does not mean the whole story is bad. Keep learning, keep improving, keep moving, even if your steps are small. Because sometimes progress is not about moving fast. Sometimes progress is simply refusing to stop. If this story gave you a new perspective, share it with someone who is silently fighting their own obstacles. And if you want more stories that help you improve your English while learning powerful life lessons about life, subscribe to the channel. And if you have not watched my previous story yet, I recommend you watch We Reap What We Sow. That story teaches another important truth about life. Every action, every choice, and every seed we plant eventually returns to us. See you in the next story.